Hello, good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to St Peter Mancroft Church on this lovely Wednesday lunchtime. I'm about to give the Wednesday lunchtime reflection, which is actually live streamed. But please, if you're looking around the church at the moment, do carry on, that's absolutely fine. My name is Gill Persicke, and I'm one of the lay ministers here. And my title for today's reflection is called 3 Tiny Moments of Grace. And I think it's about how life, or God, sometimes provides for us very gently and very kindly. But I'm going to start by being a bit autobiographical today and confess to you that I'm tired right now. There just seem to be so many tasks to do, so much sadness to endure, so much chaos to grapple with, and frankly, I'm tired. I woke up yesterday morning. It sounds like the beginning of a blues song, doesn't it? I woke up yesterday morning tired and thought, oh, dear God, I've got to give tomorrow's lunchtime reflection, and I haven't got a single idea in my head. So, what's a good place to start for inspiration? Well, turn on the news, see what's happening in the world, do a good topical reflection on something current and relevant. And you know what? I just couldn't bear to turn on the news. Too much sadness to endure in the whole world, perhaps. And then God drew my attention to the poetry book lying by my bed. And I said, oh, dear God, not a poem. Don't you know that people don't like poetry? Or at least they think they don't. And they are going to turn off this live stream as soon as they hear that word poetry. Please don't turn off this live stream. Bear with me just a little while longer. And then I said to God, so you want me to trawl through this book of poetry for a good poem, a poem worthy to be read aloud and reflected on in this church, a good, worthy poem to be worthily reflected on by me. Ah, please, God, no, haven't you been listening? I'm tired. And God said, open the book, and I did. And 3 tiny little poems, 3 tiny moments of grace fell into my hands. And I offer you these 3 tiny poems right now. They're so short that if you happen to not like one of them, don't worry, it'll soon be over. And as a cliffhanger, I'm leaving my very favourite poem for last, so now you've just got to listen to the end. The first poem is called The Peace of Wild Things, and it's by an American poet called Wendell Berry, who's also a farmer and an environmental activist. All I'm going to say by way of introduction is that it's written by someone who's feeling a bit anxious at the moment, perhaps about climate crisis. And the poem mentions a wood drake, which is indeed a duck, a very pretty and colourful duck, which lives in America and nests in trees. Just 103 words long, The Peace of Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. My second poem, or moment of grace, is by the Pakistani-born poet Imtiaz Darka. I probably said that wrong, but I did my best. Imtiaz Darka, who now lives in this country. And it does what many good poems do by telling a story in a very few words. All you need to know about this is that we're in a hot town or city, perhaps in Pakistan, and it's very dry and uncomfortable. And then a water main bursts in the street. This one is exactly 100 words long, even shorter, and the poem is called Blessing. The skin cracks like a pod. There never is enough water. Imagine the drip of it, a small splash, echo in a tin mug, the voice of a kindly God. Sometimes the sudden rush of fortune, the municipal pipe bursts, silver crashes to the ground, and the flow has found a roar of tongues. From the huts, a congregation, every man, woman, child, for streets around butts in with pots, brass, copper, aluminium, plastic buckets, frantic hands, and naked children screaming in the liquid sun, their highlights polished to perfection, flashing light as the blessing sings over their small bones. And the final tiny poem, my favourite, is by another American poet, a woman called Kaylin Hort. Now, all I can find on my internet trawl about this poet is that she's a daughter of a preacher and that her mum was a factory worker and a Sunday school teacher. And the poem is written, I think, in the voice of a young woman who's really very unsure about herself. She lacks confidence in her personality, confidence in the way she looks, confidence in her level of education. And so she has a word with God about it all. And God turns out to be really untraditional in all kinds of ways, female for starters, and just full of fun and homeliness. This is our shortest poem at just 97 words, and it's called God Says Yes to Me. I asked God if it was okay to be melodramatic, and she said yes. I asked her if it was okay to be short, and she said, it sure is. I asked her if I could wear nail polish or not wear nail polish, and she said, honey, she calls me that sometimes, she said, you can do just exactly what you want to. Thanks, God, I said. And is it even okay if I don't paragraph my letters? Sweet cakes, God said. Who knows where she picked that up? What I'm telling you is yes, yes, yes. I feel that God called me sweet cakes yesterday when I told her I was too tired to write this reflection. And God said, fine, let me and 3 kindly poets do the work for you instead. I'm very grateful for these 3 tiny moments of grace, and I hope you are too. Thanks for joining me today, and I wish you every blessing for the rest of the day.